Let's talk double-digit multiplication using the standard algorithm. Standard algorithm, that is just I guess you could say, more technical way of saying we are doing column multiplication. Something like 45 times 35. And I call it column multiplication. We call it column multiplication because you can see that the numbers are kind of written stacked up in columns. Let's get to it. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that with multiplication, with multiple digits, it's one of those things that you just practice and practice and practice until it all clicks and comes together automatically. The first thing that you're going to do with double-digit multiplication is you're going to look at the number, the bottom number, which is 35, and you're going to look at the number in the ones digit because that's our starting point. And you're going to say, okay, here's my starting point. What I'm going to do is I'm going to first multiply 5 by 5, the number on top in the ones digit. So you multiply the ones digits, and then you're going to multiply this 5 by the 4, the number in the tens digit. So basically the way multi-digit multiplication works using standard algorithm is you multiply every digit and you just keep going to the left. So if there were more numbers here, let's pretend there's a 1 and a 3 there, let's add a 2, you just keep going left. But we're only working with 2 digits right now. So we're going to do 5 times 5, and that equals 25. And here's where it gets interesting. We're going to take the number in the ones digit and drop it here. And we're going to take the number in the tens digit, and we are going to add it to the product of 5 times 4. So, I don't know if all those marks are distracting, so let me move them out of the way. Now, what our next step is, we're still in the ones digits because we did 5 times 5. Now we have to do 5 times 4. Now, what is 5 times 4? 5 times 4 is 20. But we're not done. We can't forget about this 2 that was carried over. So now we do 20 plus 2, and that equals 22. And we're going to write that number right here. And the reason we write both digits, I got to write them more clearly, is because we don't have any numbers in the hundreds digits, thousands, and so on. It just kind of ends. And that's it. Now, as practice, I tell my students, once you're done, we've already done the 5, it might be helpful to check off that we've done the 5 and kind of cross out or slash out that plus 2 so it doesn't confuse us as we continue on solving the problem. And let me explain what I mean. Now, we have done the 5, we've done the ones digit. Now we're going to move over and we're going to work on this 3, the number in the tens digit. We start with multiplying 3 times 5. So we're going to go diagonal first here. 3 times 5. And what is 3 times 5? It's 15. Now here's the thing. I sometimes tell my students that there are invisible elevators when we're dealing standard algorithm. And I say that because this 3 needs to go down 2 flights and it must stay in this column. It cannot go over here or here. It must stay in that column. So when I do 3 times 5 and I get an answer of 15, we're going to, just like we did before, we're going to actually put the 5 here and put a 0. A lot of times we just write that 0 in the ones column because because the 3 is in the tens digit, we need to stay in the tens column. So we did 3 times 5. Now we're going to do, and we need to carry this 1. So I'm going to put a plus 1 now here. And remember, and this is incredibly important, I see some students sometimes do add 4 plus 1 and then multiply. No. You want to do your multiplication first. So you're going to multiply 4 times 3, which is 12. But after we get the product of 3 times 4, we're going to add the 1. And what is 12 plus 1? Well, it's 13. And now we're almost done with the problem. All we have to do is add these numbers up. 5 plus 0 is 5. 2 plus 5 is 7. 2 plus 3 is 5. 1 plus nothing. You can put a 0 there if you want. It's just 1. What's our answer? 1,575. So 45 times 35 is 1,575. Let's do some more examples. Let's do 40 times 36. You can see here we've got a 0, so let's see how that plays out. So we've got 40 times 36. Remember, what number do we start with? We always start with the number in the ones digit in the bottom row. So we're going to do 6 times 0, which is 0. Then we're going to do 6 times 4, which is 24. And remember, we write 24 out because there's nothing in the digits before the 4. Now, we're going to go, I'm going to actually check off the 6. Check off the 6 because we're moving on to the 3 now. And I'm going to do 3 times 0, which is 0. Now, you'll notice that I started off here because remember, we've got these invisible elevators and we want to stay in our lanes. And what most people do, people my age who learn this way, is we just keep that 0 there. So as soon as every time we go down a row, we just add 0. So we would add zeros. Since we're only doing 2 digit by 2 digit right now, I'm only going to remind you that you need to put that 1 0 there. And let's get started with multiplying the 3. 3 times 0 is 0, right? And now we're going to do 3 times 4. That's 12. We're going to add these up. 0, 4, 4, 1. And now we've got our answer. 40 times 36 is 1,440. Let's do a few more. Let's do 49 times 85. Some larger digits there. Okay, so what number do we start with? We start with the 5, the bottom number in the ones place. We're going to do 5 times 9, which is 45. We're going to have this 5 take the train, and the train stays on the ground, and the 4 flies over here. I often write, now most people I would say, they just write a 4 here, and you can do that. I'm in the habit of writing plus 4 because I find that when I'm teaching, it helps my students remember that the operation to do is addition with this number. So now we've done 5 times 9, which is 45. Now we have to do 5 times 4, which is 20. And now we have to add the 4, which becomes 24. And we're going to just put that right here. Remember, because there's no numbers before the digit, the 4. And now I have to remember to put a 0 here because we are moving on to the 8, which is in the tens column. So we've got to start in the tens column. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to just cross out this plus 4. I really encourage my students to cross these numbers out after we've used them because it can often lead to errors when we are moving on to the next digit. So let's do it. We are now on the number 8. We're going to do 8 times 9 to start. 8 times 9 is 72. I'm going to take, the 2 takes the train, and the 7 flies ahead on the airplane. We're going to add 7 to our product of 8 times 4. What is 8 times 4? It's 32. I didn't like how I wrote my 4 there. Times 4 equals 32. And then we have to add the 7, which gives us 39. And now the fun part, we get to just add it all up. 5 plus 0 is 5. 4 plus 2 is 6. 9 plus 2 is 11. 3 plus 1 is 4. What's our answer? 4,165. Okay, how about one more just for kicks? Just one more just for kicks. This time, let's do 90 times 75. Okay, what do we start with? We start with the 5, which is in our ones column in the bottom row. We're going to do 5 times 0, which is 0. Then we're going to do 5 times 9, which is 45. Did 5 times 9. We're going to drop a 0 here because we are starting with the 7, which is in the tens column. We're going to do 7 times 0, that's 0. And then, oh, I forgot to put my check mark there. And then we're going to do 7 times 9, which is 63. Put that there. And now the fun part, to just add it all up. What's our answer? 6,750. Now, one of the things about multi-digit multiplication, double-digit multiplication with this method is it just requires a lot of practice. It's one of those things that, like, for someone like me, because I have done it so much, I'm not even thinking about it when I do it because I'm just used to doing it and I'm not even thinking about the steps. But to get to that point, you just got to practice and practice. And part of practicing is making mistakes along the way. And so all of that is okay, as long as we're practicing and making progress. Till next time.